Today we're going to examine the essential performance measurement capability elements that are so essential and form a critical prerequisite for sustaining excellence as a whole. There are several considerations. First of all, for designing the means by which performance at the superior level can be achieved and sustained. These are right at the planning stages and the cycle of setting the level of ambition and designing the right objectives and goals supported by the smart design of the right KPIs that will guide the performance and ensure that the achievement is at the level considered. And this therefore means that the dials of performance measurement have to be right. Essentially, key performance indicators will have to be relevant, means to an end. The means are the areas of scrutiny, the data source, its collection and its analysis in order to track real behavior of processes and measure the speed of excellence momentum and inform in a useful way so that the right decision-making process can follow from there. The second thing is that measurability is as important as design based on logic. So if we choose the right key performance indicator, we have to ensure that it is measurable in terms of the data available, in terms of the formula that can be used for measuring, and also in terms of the significance and usefulness. And the third stage perhaps is the usefulness itself. We need to ask the question, is this key performance indicator valuable? To what extent does it give us a broad picture, an essential element of our measurement activity and a contribution in terms of value so that we can vet the contribution to the decision-making process? These are important questions. The fourth element is the viability of the measurement. If measurement in particular areas is too complex, too expensive, too laborious, and too slow for the little that we gain out of it, then it has to be ruled out. Viability is really taking into consideration all the factors of cost, effort, time, and the competence required for assessing and analyzing. The fifth consideration is whether the KPI is manageable. And manageable means that it is integrated to the activity, it's part and parcel of the regularity of collecting data, analyzing it, and depicting the achievement of performance, and the cycle continues on a regular basis. So being integral of managed activities, whether they are core or support, is very critical. Measurement is not a bolted on activity. It is an integral aspect of process management. And the last consideration perhaps is the sustainability of KPIs, because of the effort and the cost and the usefulness of the outcomes and the establishment of dependability on a particular KPI. We really have to make sure that the sources of data that does not dry up, the effort does not weaken over the time, and the interest and level of commitment from all concerned parties does not waver and remains as high as when the whole effort has started. Cumulatively, therefore, these key considerations must be taken into account when looking at the dimensions of performance measurement that can lead to sustainability. The second consideration is the overall strategy for using performance measurement in the form of KPI implementation that can guarantee time and time again positive impact and supporting the achievement of benefits at a high level. And several questions need to be answered. Number one is the number of KPIs that we choose must be related to strategy in a comprehensive manner. They must cover at least 80% of what the strategy developed wants to achieve, and what are the critical areas that are to be considered. So number is not by volume, but number is by adequacy, suitability, relevance, and significance in terms of assessing the core aspects. The second important element is to allow for flexibility in terms of carefully selecting key performance indicators, and also to allow for learning, re-examining, adapting, and creating the right mindset for embracing the new KPIs and accepting something that is workable and something that all stakeholders feel comfortable with. So the learning curve is part and parcel of ensuring the success of a performance measurement system and its longevity. The supply source is going to remain critical, and data reliability and the source itself are an essential element, and supply must be continuous, must be guaranteed, must be dependable, and must be abundant over time. And the structure of performance measurement itself, in terms of the hierarchy of key performance indicators, their interdependency, the relationships that exist at various levels, and whether there is logic in terms of creating cohesiveness, and also in terms of aggregating the discrete measurement efforts in order to see the overall picture and measure the overall impact at a higher level. Sustainability depends on plotting data trends and tracking maturity and elevation in terms of performance over time. This will provide sufficient guarantee for the organization concerned that its measurement is effective, and also the confidence in projecting the future and being at ease in terms of the dynamics of measurement and the solidity of the performance that has resulted is going to be important. The design of performance measures is critical from the point of view of ensuring that comparability is going to be established with ease, and particularly when benchmarking externally, whether it's the design per se or whether it's the calculation of the KPIs themselves and the manipulation of the data, have got to have some sense of generic perspective into them so that we can compare like with like. And cumulatively, we must ensure that KPIs impact on strategic goals. They depict the path of strategic realization, and this is done in a variety of ways, directly and indirectly. So in a sense, this is an ecosystem in its own right. Number one is to have the balanced perspective and rigor and discipline in terms of the depth of the analysis per se, the tracking of maturity and capability building, and the performance impact that is measured with the level of stretch and positioning from a competitive perspective, and the residual effect of a good performance measurement system that induces positive momentum and guarantees sustainability is how strong the business organization is, and is therefore whether the performance measurement system itself is enabling in the right way.